Hi everyone, welcome to the 2022 Rookie Awards interview series. My name is Christina Ryan and I'm a senior texture artist at Industrial Light and Magic. I'm also a judge for the Rookies Awards and the host of this interview series. So that was the work of Claudia Lühl. I have been so excited to meet with Claudia. As you could see, her work was absolutely phenomenal, so much so that she took out an honorable mention in our 3D animation category this year. So we'll just be bringing Claudia on and we'll just be having a chat. It's meant to be really casual. So if anyone in the audience has any questions for Claudia or myself, please pop them in the chat and I will pass that through to her. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Claudia on right now. Hey, Claudia.
Hello. Hi.
Thank
Very
you
nice
so
to be, I'm
much
very
for
happy to be
joining.
here.
I've been excited for ages to meet with you. Your work is absolutely phenomenal. Your characters are just so fun and quite different as well. Like I really loved your style. So thank you for joining and sharing with us how you did them.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here, and yeah, I'm very excited.
Yay!
Thank you.
So Claudia, could you just start off with telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm from Germany. I always loved playing video games, and after realizing, oh, this is actually a career path, I was studying game design in Berlin, and after this, I worked in a studio, but then I went to Norman because I wanted to continue learning more about 3D modeling. I loved always doing characters, and yeah, now I'm working at Cloud Imperium Games in Frankfurt as a character artist.
Oh, it's so exciting. That was going to be my next question. Can you tell us a little bit about what are you doing now? So you mentioned that you've got a job. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, we're working. We are how you say, Cloud Imperium has like multiple seats. It's like locations in how you say, in Frankfurt, Manchester, and Los Angeles, and we're working on how you say, and we're currently working like an international team. What's very exciting. And I'm working on like characters and their costumes, for example. I also do a little bit of hair, but also like props around it. But right now, because I'm still new, I only started my new position in May, so right now I'm still like
Yeah.
getting started. But right now I'm like, working a lot on costumes for characters and outfits.
Oh, that's so exciting. So, I mean, you would have been there quite a few months now.
Mhm.
How did you find the transition from like being a student to working full time in the industry?
The transition. Yeah, it was actually kind of surprising because like I was used from Norman because we had like one term is about 10 weeks. And in this 10 weeks, you were like expected to make a like full character with everything, like from start to finish. And then I was like, when I started Cloud Imperium Games, I was told, okay, make this outfit, and I was starting to make this outfit, and I was scared because I was like taking forever because I was also learning a new software, and I was so scared that they would fire me. Like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything. It's like over 5 weeks, I'm not even done with the low poly, and I was like, but they said no, it's totally fine. Like and it's just like no matter how long it takes, make it perfect.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was just a very different mindset. I mean, maybe this is also special about Cloud Imperium games. I don't know how other big studios are doing it, but I was super excited. Now I feel, but now like I have my second project already, and it's going so much faster. But the beginning, like, was like learning
Mm.
curve was different. It was very unexpected, but very cool.
Oh, that's so funny. It just brings back memories of my first job, and it's it's such a cool concept to be paid for doing something like your passion. Hey.
Yes, it's so weird. It's like weird that I'm getting like it. I love doing it. Like I
Mm.
love the job that I'm doing, and it's like getting paid for it. It's just so cool.
Oh, I'm
I
so
don't
happy
know.
to hear it. Warms my heart. So like I'd love to hear a little bit about Noman. I know you studied in Los Angeles for a couple of years. Yeah, could you tell us a bit about your time at Noman and the sorts of things you learned and how they prepared you for moving into the industry?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I unfortunately I had the bad luck that I had only 2 terms on campus, and then COVID hit.
Oh,
So it was very sad because I was hoping to have more time on campus, but we then switched into like how you say online learning, and I don't know, it was like a very different experience, but it was also good because I was spending a lot of time at home and just like literally just waking up, like studying, working, and then going up to bed. It was pretty intense, but it was good because otherwise I would have been distracted. So.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I mean, that was also kind of like the same. You choose a project at the beginning of the term. One of the concepts you just showed the teacher. The teacher see, okay, is this a good concept? Because there's like good concepts and bad concepts. And if the teacher approved it, you were spending the rest of the term like step by step, week by week, with every homework, working on this character. Every week you get either feedback or they're doing like demonstration in the class, and then um, yeah, it was like very cool because you like having someone who's that high in industry, and they're like the teachers there are just like god level. I have the feeling like
Oh, I
they're so
imagine.
it's
Wow.
oh, and they're just teaching you and give you direct feedback. It was amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, like the quality of the work from students that comes out of that school
Hmm.
is just insane. So I can
Yeah,
only
like
imagine how exciting.
my portfolio. I just compared my portfolio for beginning and then after. It's just like that's it's like whoa.
Next level. Did you find that with Noman, did they allow you to specialize in areas of your interest? Like, or was there like a curriculum that you had to follow in terms of what you did, how you spent your time?
um, it depends. Like they have like I was in the 2 year program. They also have the bachelor program that is like longer. And in the DP program, at least you can focus after like 2 terms of like basic classes. You can focus on visual effects, games, animation, and modeling and texturing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I was just like very sure that I wanted to go this path of modeling and texturing, and then you were still able to like sometimes switch classes if you really wanted to. And
Mm-hmm.
at the very end, you also had like 2 free slots that you can totally choose from everything. So you can either say, okay, you really want to focus on something more, or you say, okay, I just take something more simple to
Yeah.
relax and focus on my demo reel. So they give you a lot of freedom, actually. I have this feeling.
Wow, that's incredible. Like it's because I guess in this industry, like there's just so much you could do, right? So it makes sense
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
focus your energy on the things that you want to get into and the things that you're interested in. I would say that probably is why it's so successful, the course.
Yeah, I mean, of course, how you say, they also like give you classes. For example, I still had some game engine classes,
Yeah, yeah.
um, like or like even some effect class at the beginning. Even though I kind of knew that I didn't want to do effects, but it's still like it was still very like interesting to learn and like to have an understanding of the other like areas of the industry, so you can like at least know something about it, and not just sit there like just focus on one thing. I think it's
Mhm.
also kind of quite good.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, like, especially, yeah, like it's really good to know the department like before you and the department after you. It's so
Mm-hmm.
important that you communicate them
Yes.
as well. So that's great. So Claudia, at what point did you decide that, this was what you wanted to do with your life and your career?
Yeah, I actually started playing video games quite late. I was like about 16 or so,
Yeah.
and I was like playing this video game at a friend's place. I was like, "What is this? This is so cool!" And then I was like getting more into it and like seeing, oh, what you can actually like, oh, this is like how characters are made. And then by coincidence, I saw, oh, there's like a school that offers game design. I was like, what? You can study this in Germany? What? And
Wow.
I thought I'm gonna be a concept artist first because I always loved to paint when I was a kid and draw and stuff. But then I came in touch with ZBrush the first in one of the first class, and it was done. It was done. I knew, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest.
Wow. I've often find as like a key point, like in everyone's story, they go, yep, this is what I want to do. I love hearing it.
Yeah.
So Claudia, what made you into the Rookies Awards?
Oh yeah, I was actually applying like last year. I also applied. I was just before my demo reel, and I just created a character in one of my classes, a character for games classes, and I was super proud of it and super excited. And and I submitted. I even get something like a choice award, but not like I was excited about that too. But then like, and then I saw the other people's work, and I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And then I started my demo reel, and I was like creating all those characters that you see now in my portfolio.
Mhm.
And I just had the feeling, because I really pushed myself and wanted to get out of my comfort zone of game characters. And so when this year was over and I started the Rookie Awards is again starting, I was like, okay, now I want to apply again with everything that I learned in this year. And yeah, it was like I just kind of like wanted to see like how what I did in this year, how far I've come, like, and wanted to like see compare. And yeah, I didn't expect it to come that far.
Well, no, you've done so well. And I mean, you impressed each and every one of us. Yeah, like you're like I sorry, I'm just lost looking at your work at the moment. It's and like what a fantastic way to be able to summarize everything you achieved in the year into like just one portfolio like this and do so well with it. So congratulations.
Thank
Um,
you.
Tell us, I guess, like you explained a little bit about your rookies entry, but can you tell us a little bit more about perhaps what inspired you with some of these characters? I mean, if there's a particular character you'd want me to get up on the screen, I'd love to sort of know what made you pick this
Sure.
particular decision.
Um, I think one of the like most meaningful, like most changing character for me, and like was the goddess, the one with the red hair.
Yeah.
Before that, I made the sword master, and I liked it. It was like one of my first, like in class, I did it. One of my first, like more like like high quality characters, like like higher definition than game characters.
Mhm.
And it was like a tough start because it was the first time doing it, and I still didn't understand much. But then I like created the goddess, and it was also a demo reel piece, a piece that I was not given like by a class or something, and I could really choose whatever I wanted. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do just a normal character concept, because
Mhm.
um and then I was like going through like pictures and images. I have like a whole folder of like next project ideas, and I don't know. And then I saw this painting. It's like it was more like a painting than a concept, and I was just blown away by it. It was so beautiful. It's by Peter Pollard. His style
Mhm.
is just the whole picture was kind of like vibrating of this energy, and I was just like, that's it. I want to do that. Ugh. And and I knew it would be a challenge because it's like a lot to model. It had like stuff, like it was like very complex, and yeah, and like grooming and like high skin detail textures and stuff, displacement maps, and rendering, compositing and stuff. It was everything that I kind of touched before, but I wasn't sure about, and I really wanted to learn more about it too. So, and this one, so yeah, I wanted to do something different than the normal concept.
I see. Well, this one's like it's absolutely stunning. This is the one that caught my eye initially, actually. Just like the beautiful colors as well, the greens and the reds, and the beautiful hair. What would you say was the most challenging part of
The
this?
hair.
The hair. I thought you
The
might say
hair.
that.
Oh my gosh, I suffered so much.
Oh,
But it was,
it looks
it,
good, but my God, those curls and the length
yeah,
of it and how it just
curls.
interacts with everything. Oh.
Yeah, it was just like it took me several tries to get it right. Also, I wasn't that good in action before. I made the beard and the guy with, but like this was like, ugh, I didn't like action. So making getting this happen was pain.
Oh, I could imagine. Next time, try Houdini fur. It's a little bit more
Oh my
difficult.
gosh, I'm sorry, but no. I had a Houdini class. It was the worst. It was my absolute nightmare. This was my baddest grade in my whole like. I was really like I had like A's and stuff, and then like I was like,
Okay, so
it
this
was
was the
no.
lesser of the two evils then.
I will not touch Houdini again if I not have to.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
I'm sorry, but no.
Well,
Oh.
how did you overcome that challenge, I suppose? What did it, I guess you just kept trying until it worked?
Yeah, I watched a lot tutorials. I was like I spent so much time on YouTube, like watching different tutorials, and then also like I had a teacher who is like a goddess in like XGen. She's really good, and I was like having feedback sessions with her, and she was giving me advice. But yeah, it was a lot of try and error, experimenting. I also had like I created like a separate scene with just the head in it and the guides to test it in there, so I could like have another scene with like everything else, because it was just like sometimes also XGen can crash a lot. I found
Yeah.
a way around it. I'm very happy, but it used to keep crashing a while, so I had to keep it in a separate scene, testing there, and then when I was happy with the result, bring it over in my original scene.
hmm Well, I'm glad that you persisted through the pain because it looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I learned a lot during this project. It was cool.
hmm On the contrary, what was your favorite part of the project? Do you have a favorite part, or what did you enjoy doing the most?
I really enjoy texturing everything. Like I love texturing in
I'm
Substance
biased, but
Painter. It's just like and it
oh,
I
so
don't know, like yeah, the skulls for example, like texturing the skulls and the like the
good.
horn and like creating the displacement stuff for the horn, because I actually used a lot of displacement textures in this stuff. For example, for the borders, the golden borders, or the gold ornaments on the horn. I didn't model them. I used displacement maps. Never did that before. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool experiment with that.
Oh, perfect. I mean, that's exactly
Oh,
what we would do in the industry, would be to use displacement maps for those sort of details. So,
mm.
yeah, I'm so glad you say texture.
Yeah, and skin texturing too in Mari. It was also like I don't know. It was just like it was. I say, how you say it was like. Unfortunately, don't have Mari right now anymore. Otherwise, I would love to show you some stuff. But it's like because I don't have the license anymore. I'm not a student anymore. I can't afford it. But yeah, like texturing
Quite cool.
Mari is fun.
It is, yeah. It's like using both Substance and Mari in combination is just like the perfect combination, right? Because like each program
Yeah.
has their positives and negatives, and texturing skin and Mari and like the photo projections and stuff, it's super fun and really relaxing, I find. Like,
Mm. Yeah,
mm.
especially skin texturing in Mari. Everything else I love doing in Substance Painter, but skin texturing I always do in Mari. It's just like
Yeah, I think
the
that's
best.
pretty standard. Yeah. Oh, lovely. Claudia, I was hoping you might be able to share your screen. I absolutely love doing this because it just sort of shows people a little bit behind the scenes and gives them a bit of an idea of maybe some of your project files and what they looked like before
Mhm.
composited together, like all pretty like this. So I'll just add your screen on.
Okay.
All right, you're sharing.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
guys in the
like
audience, if you have any questions about, please feel free to pop them in. It's a great opportunity to learn something or find out something, especially if you're going to be entering the rookies next year.
mhm. I mean, yeah, this is my scene. As you can see, this was also one thing that was kind of like special about this character that before, like in game characters, I always had to make sure everything is perfect from every side. But because in this specific scene, I knew that I have a shot only from one side, and I never intend to make like much around the camera. Like my camera tilts that I made of this project came much later.
Mm-hmm.
But like as you can see, this model is only working from one side, kind of like the rest is just kind of draped.
I love that.
Yeah, it's
Set
like
expectations. Like you don't have to finish everything. You just have to make a pretty picture.
exactly. I love like I was having the voice of my teacher in my head when he said like, "Do you see it? It's a shot. Do you see it? No, delete it." I was like, "Okay."
So good. Exactly.
Because yeah, it's just like some stuff like it's just like, but it doesn't matter. But for example, the body too. If you see the body, for example, this is the body of the woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was deciding, okay, either I can make because she has four hands. I was like,
Yep.
how am I supposed to do that? Like, should I just give her like four arms, four hands? I was like, no. I even made it because I had so little time. That was also a problem. I only had like 10 weeks for the whole project because
Wow.
but and they said okay I should be done with modeling everything in like week 5. So now I was
Yeah.
like okay I don't have time for this, and so I created also just one hand and then just like duplicated around and mirrored it, and because
Mm-hmm.
and because you see so little of the hands, I didn't even have to change that much textures. So it was like, there's a hand, it's its own model, there's a hand, it's its own model. It's just like saving time wherever I could.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, all in all, the topology of everything is like very easy. This is a fabric. I
yeah,
mean, Marvelous Designer is a solution in the industry for a lot of stuff right now. It's like, but it's because I wanted to be this very specific folds and folding. I just took planes, brought it to ZBrush, and moved it around, and then
yeah.
brought it back to Maya, tested, does it work? It was so much back and forth between ZBrush and Maya
Imagine that.
because, yeah, because I wanted it to fit to the concept so much. And in ZBrush, you can't create like in Maya a camera and say image plane and see if
Yeah,
it's aligning or not, because the
yeah.
camera in ZBrush is just totally behaving different. So it was a
Mm.
lot of back and forth, seeing if it fit, doesn't it fit, and then like, yeah. And the hair, for example, if you want to see, it looks like a mess because everything is colorful, but it was important to have it like this because wait, I try to isolate it. So I split it into the main hair into three sections. I have like left, because she has like such a, like, she has like this hairline in the middle, and I was first trying to make everything in once, but it just didn't, it was difficult. So I decided to just make, this is the left, and then I have, let me try to, if I can have it haircut. I haven't opened this project in a long time. uh
It's nice to come back to it and look at it with fresh eyes.
yeah, it's like I have like hair region maps, like little, like the hair caps have like regions painted on it, and so I made every curl like its own region. So that was important because otherwise the hair was just like going into each other. But I wanted to have the specific strains that I said, okay, I'm gonna set each strain giving its direction. So this, then I have here the right, some of this going there, and some long strains because they were just also like just flying around everything, and some baby hair. So, but yeah, and if we do this all, and I turn off the UC for material.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's not super pretty if you see it without, like, I mean, who has hair like this?
I wish
Maybe
I had
like this.
a volume.
Yeah. But like this, but again, it just like, it had to work in the final image. So,
Yeah, that's right.
but yeah,
So cool. Thanks for
thank you.
sharing that.
Of course. I just turn this back. Okay. So yeah, and for example, with the, if you want, I can show you some of this like skulls and texturing, because
Yeah,
this was
yeah,
also
I'd love
something.
to.
Where is it? Where is it? There's some stuff
Oh,
in here.
hey, you got painter.
Yes,
That's
here.
cool. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, the thing is like normally in substance paint, like I had, because I had so limited time, I had to kind of like improvise with the skulls. I created, for example, one skull. I was like creating it in high poly. I was dynameshing it, not taking about topology yet. And normally, like in every other case, I would do then, okay, I take a retopo, I make a retopo, or I make a hand retopo or something that's really nice. But because I was just creating, like, I was using zebra mesher,
Mm-hmm.
and because I was like very worried where to have the seams, because I couldn't take the seams like in every same place for each skull. Like,
Yeah.
I had to change it sometimes depending on like what angle it is shown from. I was creating an like UVs in ZBrush actually by using the poly group options.
Oh,
That's
wow.
why they are like this. And I could, by using the poly groups, painting the poly groups on each like skull. For
Mm-hmm.
example, this is red and this is blue, the front, and say, okay, make this a poly group UV tile. I got very quick and fast, like here, UV layouts. They're not pretty. they're not, I would not use them in like in the industry, of course, but for this case, it was just like the most fast and easiest way to get. And I
Great.
also created like the UDEMs like this,
Yeah.
because this way I was able to bake each skull individually, because thankfully, since this update back then, this was a new update like a year ago,
Yeah.
but now it's like I can bake like each UDEM individually.
Yes.
What
Yes.
is saving so much time when
Oh,
you have like high poly models? It's like crazy.
amazing. Oh, it
Mm.
was so good when they introduced all of that. Hey.
Yeah. Otherwise, I just remember old projects when I wanted to bake like even just one little thing in a character, I had to
It
remake the
often.
whole map. And it just took forever, the exporting and the baking and then exporting again. And now it was just like, zack, zack, zack. Nice. Thank you.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness. Would you mind just zooming into one of those skulls? So, I
for
mean,
sure.
that looks like a photo. Have you used photo projections or is it all procedural?
No, it was all it was just procedure. It was like starting,
No
and
way.
then it's super messy. It's like I was just starting with the base, and then one thing that might be interesting, like one way I like to generate textures
Mm-hmm.
and get, how you say, because it was just like here, like I make this, and then I say, okay, I want, for example, like spots on it. I just want a lot of like texture variation, because it was one thing about skulls, they were just like having so many different colors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then I was creating, okay, I say create black mask. Um, oh, oh, um, so, and then I was saying, okay, oh, why is it suddenly German? Oh my gosh. Because I work at it, oh my god, and how you say, at work I have everything in English, so I'm currently right now. Why
Oh,
is everything?
don't stress. It's all good. Even if you just wanted to explain or
There.
talk about it. Oh, there we go.
So okay, and now I'm saying, okay, I want to add the grunge. So I create, like, I put a grunge in the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I have to make it a different color. I'm stupid.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But
it's
just
so
to make
great.
it a bit more grunge. Let's make this just to make it more visible. Where is it? Oh, there. So, and now I have like this mask, but I'm still not happy with it. Just want to make something more like. So just to give a demonstration. So I have a mask, and then I put this one in another folder. Gives this also like a black mask and a filler. And then put another grunge in that.
Nice.
This was helping so much, because like I just like create a mask and another mask in it.
Yeah, combining masks is so powerful. Just building up those black and white masks. Something
Yeah,
I
breaking up also the mask,
Yeah.
like making a breakup of the mask. It's like it makes it much more realistic, I have the feeling. And it was like I was just working with that a lot. Like
Yeah,
just putting on mask and then another mask, and then I had like all these nice little spots and
so good. I love it. It's yeah, I mean, like just creating big variations and then adding small variations and then like just squinting your eyes to see like, okay, is it like blurring into one color or where can I add more information? You know, it's so much fun to build this sort of thing up. What a fantastic result though, especially in Substance Painter doing like organic sort of texturing. You know, it's really good to see such a photoreal result from Substance.
Thank you. So it was also funny, like the funny story behind it was also we were talking. It was now like we were in demo room, we had a class, and we were like talking. I was sharing my screen, and then my teacher said, "Yeah, best is if you would have like real life reference with you. Create a lot of reference. Reference is a key." And one of my co-students was just living in the same apartment building, was living down the top, and suddenly it knocked at the door, and I was like, "What the fuck? I don't expect anyone." Sorry, my language. I was like, "I don't expect anyone." I was opening the door, and there he stood with a huge horse skull in his hands, because his father has a range, and he was just like, I heard you need a reference here. And I was like, what? And then I had this huge horse skull like standing on my little desk in my tiny room, and I was just looking at it for reference all the time, just like turning around. It helped a lot, like
Oh my
real
goodness.
reference and reference all in all, like reference is the key. Like as you can
Oh,
see, like
you're right. So good.
I just thought every project was like a ton of reference of
Yeah.
stuff and like everything. It's just like
Oh, it's perfect. This is exactly what we do as well. Like I
just
also
like
use PureRef, and it's so important
mm-hmm.
to be continuously looking at stuff.
Yeah, it's because it's also like I don't know. When I was younger, I heard like, oh, if you want to be good, you shouldn't use reference anymore. And
No,
then I was like, no, reference. Like everybody knows kind of like how a cow looks, for
yeah.
example, or a skull. But then you're asked to paint one, and you actually have no idea how it actually looks like. So yeah, reference.
Honestly, the worst advice I was ever given was to come up with stuff out of your head. Like no artist like can do that without having extensive training and by looking at reference and learning. And at that point, it's just rote learning, right? And you're just repeating the steps. But every
Mm-hmm.
artist starts off looking at reference, and like it's so important to get your job in the industry to be able to follow reference because that's what we want, like we want you to be
Mm-hmm.
able to copy what was on set or with a game, like copy whatever, design the concept is. Yeah.
Yeah, like I even like in some classes it was just like just the first whole week you're just gathering references was like the homework, and there was a reason behind that. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I was just going to say, like, you seem to spend a lot of time like planning and reference gathering, which I think is so important, and it's often a step that a lot of people tend to miss
Mhm.
because they just want to, get into the project. But the fact that you planned out the camera, planned out the angle, you had your concept art ready to go, so you knew what you had to model, what you didn't have to model. You saved
Yeah.
yourself so much time because if you just dived in and did it, you would have done so much unnecessary work.
Yeah, definitely. But it's also like, especially in my case, I need kind of structure because I'm a very messy person. I admit that I'm chaos, and I just like I need structure. Like I had to have a plan. Like that's why I like also the homework. Okay, this week you have this done. This week you have the UVs done. This week you have the retopo done. Like kind of like. So I
Mhm.
was just like trying to follow this kind of steps and like a timeline in my project too, because like otherwise it would just have been.
And was that a timeline that you developed yourself, or was it something that your teachers helped you with?
It was kind of like also she to help me because like we had like every week we had a feedback session. And he said, okay, maybe next week have this and this done. But I also like I had this very time set for like as I mentioned like in week 5 the model has to be done. Everything has to be done with modeling, and then I was just spending time on texturing, substance painter, everything, and then also like but I spent it like 3 more weeks afterwards. Like the term was over, but then we had like break, and I was still spending the whole break just working on this
Yeah.
project because I really, really wanted it to be nice.
Oh, well, that's it. I mean, like, to get it on your show reel and get it looking great. No, yeah, absolutely great work.
Thank you.
Oh goodness, yeah, I'm just like really excited to see all of this. I'm so excited. I forgot my question.
I don't know anything in the chat also. Like otherwise,
Yeah, is anyone
um,
anyone want to know anything about these, like, now's the time to ask, or like how did you approach something? Um, what was my question? Oh, I've got a question. How did you decide the look of the goddess? So did you have like a reference of a particular person? I know you had the concept, but
mhm.
people's faces are so challenging. So was there a particular like look that you were going for?
Actually not. Like I didn't like with a kid, for example, with the innocent piece. I actually had more like really one specific kid I found on the internet. It was like a model or something or some like, and he was like I used him mostly as a reference. But with her, it was really just like, because she has such a specific kind of like she has a pointy nose.
I was gonna say it's very elven, like it's quite a look.
Mm. And I was just like, it was again a big back and forth between ZBrush and Maya. I just had my camera set, and then I was in ZBrush. I created the head first,
Yeah.
like in looking font. And then I like tilted her in ZBrush, and then I was like posing her, and then I was just like a lot of like, okay, the nose a little bit longer, the lips a little bit more like this, the chin a little bit more like this, a lot of like tilting, moving, and then hoping it fits, checking if it fits.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That's good to see the concept art as well. You've really kept true to it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like just more vibrant, but it's like it's just like it's also like a painting. It's like difficult to get this specific.
No, well, you've I mean, you changed the color palette up a little bit as well. You've gone from more oranges and you've really made the greens quite vibrant, I could see. So it's good that you've taken this as like a reference and you've also made it your own, which is really cool.
Yeah, like another like I don't know, like for example, my next piece, like here, Innocence, you can see I actually changed it kind of like. Let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, there. I actually changed quite a bit on the
Yeah.
concept just because I ran into so much trouble when creating like a 3D version
Yeah.
of this piece because it's still a painting and it was just like impossible to get it exactly down because otherwise the proportions were just wrong.
Mhm.
Like, so I had to improvise.
Yeah, no, I mean, like even like sometimes recently I've been doing some drawing and you do a drawing and then you want to translate that to 3D. Quite often it doesn't always translate to 3D very well, does it? So like
No.
once you do it, you realize, oh, okay, the proportions might be a little bit off. But no, you've done very well to be able to take that and then just sort of make it quite accurate in 3D.
Yeah.
We got a question. Jason would like to know, when texturing a human digital double, is using texture XYZ the best way to go?
Oh yeah, like definitely. Like how I say, we use texture XYZs. Like we learned using texture XYZs in the workflow. Let me see if I can pull something up. Yeah, but I text other project for that. There and there. So, oh yeah, here. Like we use texture XYZ and the ZBrush map. I also know people who use like 3D, like recently 3D scans. There was another, like combining different like creators of such high poly displacement maps is also possible. But for this, I mostly use XYZ. Like you can see, this is like a blender of. I have my displacement map from ZBrush that is just like creating like the different topology level displacement, and then I have the displacement map from XYZ, and I split it into red, green, and blue because every displacement map has like here I can like each channel has like a different level of surface details.
Yeah, that's right.
And with this kind of like setup, I was able to control each displacement level, like each channel like individually. And so this was just like I spent one day and like just like look deving and like seeing okay how much we need of this, and then like until it was really working.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, XYZ definitely.
Yeah, it's the same. That's what we use in industry as well. We've always used X, Y, and Z, and like can't stress enough how important that displacement map is. It's the most important map. More like your color map's important, but nowhere near as important as the displacement map. And really, that's what drives all of the specular, all of the information, and it's also important, like you've done there, to have it all split out into separate levels of detail, so the look dev artists can come in and tune that individually. So you've done all of that, exactly as we would in the industry, which is great to see.
Yeah, I also like I still see the difference when I was like. I think you can also like always see if you like have like XYZ displacement maps because it's just like you can sculpt skin details. I have the feeling in ZBrush if you're really good. But it's still not the same because there are just so many little tiny details that it's just like
like photographs are the way to go with things like this. Like scans and photographs to get human detail. Like you'd have to be an absolute, as you would say, an absolute god to be able to texture, to be able to paint something like that. The time it would take would just be insane. So
But I also have the feeling like 3D scans are just getting more and more the norm in this industry.
yeah,
No matter if like movie or games, like in
yeah,
games too, like just so many scans.
yeah, exactly. Like a lot of digital double work is just spent
Mm.
processing the scan, the color map, removing any shadows, any leftover specular, and if because specular shouldn't be in there in the reference, but if it is, you remove that, remove the shadows, and then just plugging it into the shader and getting it right. So yeah,
Yeah,
and you can
look
also
deaf.
reuse the maps as well, reuse displacement maps between characters. It's more
Oh
efficient.
yeah. And especially like I mean, once you have a few like I mean, you can buy different textures on XYZ,
Yeah,
but I mean, you can just use them. Like once you have like a little library, you can just like use them for so many different.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And something I was taught was that the color map doesn't necessarily have to even line up with the
Mm.
displacement map as well,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter. Oh no, it's really cool to see you using these sort of techniques because yeah, that's exactly what we would be doing. Great
Yeah.
question, Jason. Thank you for popping that one in. So I was gonna just before we wrap this up, Claudia, I was just hoping you might be able to pass on some advice for the people watching. Anyone who'd like to enter the rookies next year, or anyone umming and ahhing whether or not they want to get into 3D, and what advice would you give them?
Like I I don't know, like I guess it also depends like when you're learning. Like in my case, I was like always like how you say, like I was taking a lot of notes because like I was in class, so I was just like I don't know if everybody can use this advice if they're like self-taught, but I was just like taking, for me it was important to take a lot of notes, a lot of screenshots, and like because I realized even when I was in term like 10, I sometimes went back to screenshots of term 2
Yeah,
just because like I couldn't remember what specific button was.
yeah,
And also like otherwise I created like a library in YouTube of like different tutorials, so I always could find them again because I often like yeah, it was sometimes like, oh, where's this one specific hair tutorial, like just save it in your list and you
yeah,
will find it every time. Like
okay.
yeah, just and otherwise like asking for advice, like like I don't know, like I had also like just like people who were like in the industry or like other students. Like sometimes I didn't even ask other like teachers. I just asked students and we talked about it under each other, just because we were just like learning and helping each other. That was also like important.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful advice. Everyone has, different advice that help them, and I really hope that, this is going to really help the future generation of artists. So thank you for sharing that.
Yay.
Claudia, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna wrap this up here. But thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. It's been such an amazing time to be able to spend this with you. You're such a fun person, and you've got wonderful art. And
Thank you.
yeah, I'm sure everyone got a lot out of this. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun.
Of course. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll follow you on all the socials. So we'll keep watching, and I'm really excited to see what sort of things you come up with in the future. And all the very best with your not so new job anymore. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. I'm like, yeah, I'm very excited like where this is all going to lead. Thank you.
I'm excited for you. All right, Claudia. Thanks everyone for joining, and yeah, I'll see you in a couple of weeks for our next interview. I will just leave you with Claudia's demo reel, just so you can see once again her fantastic work. See you later, everyone.
Bye bye.